Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Anushka and this is going to be my very first YouTube video. So I'll start with a short introduction. I am from New Delhi, India, and I did my schooling from New Delhi. I did my boards, and right after my boards I always wanted to go to the best colleges in DU. And back in 2020 the cutoffs were like off the charts. It was 100% for most of the most popular courses like psychology or economics, and I had interest in either of the two. So I started looking for my options. LSR was, beyond my reach, and then I finally ended up in Miranda. I did my bachelor's in economics and maths from Miranda, and as soon as I got in the college, I started my college applications because I was pretty sure that I always wanted to study abroad. I always had this dream growing up that I also want to go out and explore how the outside world looks like, especially as a girl. And since I come from a very humble background and a very, conservative kind of a household where my mother is, always super keen on not letting me out when it's not meaningful. So I always had like a curfew. It was only for college, for home, and for other academic stuff. So, it was always confined to those areas. And my first flight ever that I ever boarded was directly to Paris for my master's. So as soon as I finished my bachelor's, I started my master's in Paris. But how I ended in Paris, there is literally a whole video that I can make on how I got scammed by consultants, how I paid more than 7 lakh rupees just as consultation fee to 2 different consultancies, and I got nothing in return. At the end, I had to look out for myself. I did whatever research that I could do based on the internet, and I finally got admission in one of the business schools in Paris, which is Schema Business School. And yeah, I started my master's in strategic management and consulting. 2 years passed by. It was a wonderful experience that I truly think that everyone deserves, especially somebody who's from a developing country, because we're not very aware of what's happening outside, the kind of exposure you get, the kind of social networks you build, and just like living on your own, away from support of family and friends, where everything is just served to you on a platter. Not like even from even for students from a very humble background, it is your mother who's cooking the meals and washing your clothes and getting stuff done. So when you are here on your own, you're literally managing everything and you become like a master of everything. So that is one thing that every Indian student should really experience. So yeah, that's that. And then I got an internship in Saarbrücken, Germany, which is where I currently live. I'm doing an internship at Hager in marketing and communications. So that's about me. Now, what my journey has been like in terms of consultancy experiences, what my journey has been like in terms of how I boarded the flight, what kind of an experience, what kind of a nightmare it was as soon as I landed in Paris. The night was a nightmare to say the least. I've never had such an experience, and it truly was like experiencing Paris syndrome, though I never had it, but still. So I think it can be saved for another time, and I can upload a full video on that. The purpose of this video is to share my message across to the right audience, that now that I am in Germany and I see the kind of education, the kind of student life here is, it is very different from France, it's very different from Paris, it's very different from India. Here there is no tuition fee. Here you can work for 20 hours a week, which can easily pay your bills, monthly bills, and you do not have to ask your parents for monthly allowances, which is something that I wasn't aware of. And if I were to make a decision back in 2020, I would always choose Germany then France over France anytime, any day, because then it would have I would save like lakhs and lakhs of rupees in tuition fee and in my monthly expenditure. So this is the reason why I started the Leap Europe. it's a very, very, very niche, small community that I'm going to build based on, you know, the profiles that I get, where I'm going to be assisting and helping and guiding students from India. And personally, I really want to touch on the tier 2, tier 3 cities. Reason being, they do not get the kind of quality information. There's a lot of information asymmetry across the country, so they do not get the kind of information they should get, and they don't know what their options are. You know, they don't know much about all this. So I really want to reach out to them, and then I want to assist and guide in their college applications, in, you know, making the right decision in terms of the program, the university, the timeline, and everything else if they're confused with it. That is that. And why I say that it's very niche, very small, very special, very, very tailored and personalized is because I feel there are, you know, okay, it's going to be across a few pillars, a couple of pillars. Number one, I want to cater to both the parent and the student, because the parents are the one who are going to, you know, invest in money. It's not always the student. So they should be in confidence. They should, you know, understand, okay, what's going to happen next. What are the kind of decisions that are being made? So that is going to be one of the priorities. Number two is going to be, you know, being as cost efficient as we can for the student and for the entire process. And number three is going to be a very serious attempt at quality education. I don't really want, you know, people who just have the money, who can just, you know, spend in the money and be like, okay, just give me like a one-way ticket to Europe. I really do not want to do that. I want to make a very serious collaborative effort in terms of, you know, bringing their good profile, bringing the good education, the good universities, the good programs, and just like, you know, making a match. I do not want to simply, you know, make like the admin work easy for them and be like, hey, now you can come, you know, via this route, via that route. I don't really want to do that. So that is why this cohort is going to be very small, of 10 students. It will be comprising of 10 students who are serious at making serious efforts. Because if you are not prepared for a European country, it is going to be a hell of an experience. You will have to be prepared in terms of the administration that is here. You have to be prepared for the language, for the weather, for, you know, some loneliness at times, because you might not always get the right kind of, you know, emotional or social support. You have to build it on your own. And then for sure, education. So yeah, that's that. And if you, your friends, or someone you might know wants this kind of help, wants this kind of assistance, guidance, advice, then sure, do reach out to me. www.theleapeurope.com is the URL. You can always reach out via LinkedIn. You can find me as Anushka Sharma, and also on Instagram I go by the handle by Anushka, Anushka 25. I'm not sure. I think I'll put in the handles somewhere, you know, in the video or in the description box. I will also put the form, the waitlist form, because we currently have like a good number of applications and we need to assess. So you can be on the waitlist, or you can fill out the form. You can DM me on Instagram. You can you know, drop a message on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn. So that is about how you can reach out to me. And what's next? I'm going to be uploading a lot of you know, videos, informative videos on my life in Germany, what it was like in France, Paris, and how's my work, what's my lifestyle like. Because, you know, when I was in your position, when I was preparing for my college applications, I used to watch such videos day in and out, just to, you know, get a little glimpse of what it is like to live in another country, where you are the, you know, when you are the, just like, you're responsible for everything, and you get to make decisions on your own, and when you get to, you know, do things on your own. So yeah, I think I talked a lot, and this is my first video. Please be gentle with your feedback. You can always comment down below the kind of videos you want, the kind of information you want, any good positive feedback, any critical, you know, feedback. I am open to that. So thank you so much. You can subscribe, you can follow me on Instagram, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.